Hiya, so hey guys, and so today I'm going to be telling you how you can configure a Visual Studio project using the GLFW and OpenGL bindings through the vcpkg manager. So by default, Dear Imgui does not really work out of the box, but it does comes up with a bunch of examples that you can look at. So I have a bunch of these examples up and running that I can navigate to. So I might as well run my terminal and navigate to my C users PC, OneDrive desktop desk main, and head over to Imgui, and I can simply navigate to the examples directory and simply list and launch my Explorer here. So by default, these example directory comes with a solution file that you can launch within the Visual Studio Community Edition if you have installed, and you can set up any example that you would like to build. In this case, I'm going to be building GLFW OpenGL 3 since it's really cross-platform. But if you are a big fan of DirectX bindings for Windows platforms, you can go ahead and build that example as well. But in this video, I'm going to be building the GLFW and OpenGL version. So we're going to be setting it up. It seems like to me that it's already set up as a startup project. So I'm going to be changing nothing and simply building it and launching it. So here we go. We have gotten two windows, and this is by default running the Imgui demo, and its lists. This is by default is running Imgui demo, and it actually lists everything that the Imgui library has to offer when it comes to window options, widgets, layouts and scrolling, pop-ups and model windows, and tables and columns, inputs and focus as well. You can even modify the Windows appearance by tinkering with these options. So if we head over to layout and scrolling and widgets width, or maybe child windows, widgets, tooltips, text, images, basic, sliders, fine, we don't need that, trees, texts, images, combo, list box. I cannot seem to find it, but we can change the padding size of these options and drop down menus. There we go. Basic horizontal layout, groups, text-based alignment, pop-up and model windows, clipping, overlap mode, no. It seems to me that it might as well somewhere in here, widgets, multi-common data types, plotting, text, selectables, images, bullet points, collapsing headers, trees, window options, no move configuration. There we go. Under configuration, you might as well have a whole lot of sliders that you can manipulate to change the padding and margin of these options and make your Imgui window as appealing as possible. We can even round the frames by selecting the window rounding. So the window corners gets rounded. We can do tiled rounding and even frame rounding, and pop-up rounding, scroll bar rounding, grab rounding, and tab rounding. So it starts to look pretty modern in a way that you can now manipulate with the values and create your own GUIs in a way you really want them to perform and look. So yeah, I'm going to be telling you today how to set up a new Visual Studio project and use vcpkg manager to use Imgui along with the GLFW and OpenGL bindings. So first of all, do make sure that you have vcpkg installed. By default, I have my VC package installed within my D drive, which I'm navigating to right now. So inside of VC package, I have in order to make this project work, you've got to install 3 libraries using the VC package manager, and those 3 libraries are VC package, search. You're going to be searching Imgui, and we're going to be looking for the OpenGL 3 bindings, x86 Windows, and wait for it to get the latest results back. If you for some reason don't really know how to get VC package up and running, you might as well look at a tutorial or two to get VC package up and running. But it isn't really that complex. All you've got to do is to clone the GitHub VC package repo and run a simple command that comes within the VC package installation or clone repo. So, okay. First of all, you've got to install 3 packages using the VC package. We are going to be searching for Imgui, and you've got to install the VC package Imgui OpenGL bindings, OpenGL 3 bindings to be precise. You have to install this package, so make sure that you don't have conflicting Imgui packages, otherwise you're going to be facing a whole lot of issues configuring your project. So we're going to be heading over to our command prompt and run VC package install Imgui OpenGL 3, OpenGL 3 binding x86 Windows. Now you can use this command to install the Imgui OpenGL bindings, but I'm not going to do that because I already have Imgui installed within my VC packages. I wanted to show a few packages that you need to install. Previously I said we needed to install 3 packages, but I already have all of those packages installed, and I'm going to be having you take a look at those packages. So right now I'm currently in the root directory of my VC package installation directory, and if you look carefully, we have a packages directory, subdirectory, which we are going to be navigating to. When we list out the present packages within the packages directory, we have the ones you should really be looking at are GLFW 3 x86 Windows, GLAD x86 Windows, Imgui x86 Windows. These are the 3 packages that we have got to install through the VC package manager. And if you get a hold of these packages, we can configure our Visual Studio project pretty easily. And do make sure that each of these packages get rightfully installed. So for GLFW, you can search for VC package. Okay, so since we are not in the VC package root directory, we do not have access to the VC package executable. VC package, search GLFW3. And we have GLFW3 Wayland. We don't need to install GLFW3 Wayland. It's for Linux, but we are going to be using GLFW3. So all you've got to do is to simply run VC package install GLFW3, and you might as well get GLFW package within your packages directory. Next, you've got to look out for VC package GLAD. GLAD is a requirement, I suppose, for making OpenGL window functions or rendering work, if I am right. But yeah, it is one of those things that you have to get installed to make your project's configuration rightfully executed. So you gotta make sure that you install just the GLAD, and you have GLAD 0.1.36 at the top. It's for Vulkan, GL, GLES, EGL, GLX, WGL, and you've got to install GLAD. So you can run VC package install GLAD, and you will be done with this stuff. So let's navigate to our packages directory and simply look at these packages one by one. Do make sure that in order to get Imgui within our Visual Studio project up and running, we do need these packages configured within our current Visual Studio project. and which will enable us to run Imgui code within our main.cpp file under the sources directory. So here I have my Visual Studio open. I can create a new project. I'm going to be heading over to new project, and we're going to be choosing an empty project. No need to choose the CMake project. It's going to make things very complex, and I would say keep it platform agnostic, and we're going to be using empty project for this purpose. Next, and we're going to be naming our project. We might as well name it something like learning endeavor Imgui, and the project's location is C users, PC, source, and repos, and I guess that's a good enough name, and we're going to be creating the project. So inside of this solution explorer, you might as well get these directories: external dependencies, header files, resource files, source files, but we don't got to look at them. First of all, you've got to make sure that you have a main.cpp file within your source file or source.cpp. I don't like the name source, so I'm going to rename it to main.cpp. And within main.cpp, you have some boilerplate code that you know it's actually going to work once you do configure your project rightfully. So I was looking at I was going back and forth over ChatGPT, and it generated this code to render and make a simple window using the Imgui, GLFW, and OpenGL functions. So we're going to be pasting this code rightfully so here. But if you take a look at it, there are all sorts of squiggly red lines under each statement or each line of code, and we have got to make sure that we get rid of that. So first of all, there are import errors because we haven't configured the project. Now the actual work starts, which the intended purpose of this video is. You've got to choose the project that you have currently just made and right click it and head over to properties. And inside of properties, the main thing you've got to look out for is the linker section and the configuration properties section. Firstly, we are going to be beginning with the linker section. Under the linker section, you have got to head out to input, and over onto input in the right pane, we're going to be having a look at the additional dependencies. Here you've got to name each individual library that we are going to be using in this project. If you're not sure what libraries we have to use for this project, I might as well remind you real quick. We had installed 3 packages within our package directory in vcpkg. If I navigate to each of these individual packages, which is glad x86 Windows, and I list out the contents, and I change the directory to this lib folder, and I list out the contents again, then I have a file named glad.library. This is the library we are going to be using, and that is what you have to put the name for. But don't put the glad name at the top. We have got to move in a chronological order. The major library for our project is going to be Imgui, then GLFW for window functions, then our OpenGL, or I would say glad for having OpenGL work rightfully. So by the way, you don't need to install OpenGL separately through the vcpkg package manager, because during the Imgui installation we already installed the OpenGL 3 bindings along with the Imgui package, and you can take a look at them yourself. So we're going to be heading over here, and let's take a look at our Imgui first. Imgui package x86 Windows, and inside of the directory we're going to be taking a look at what library are we using. We are using imgui.lib, so just simply put imgui.lib, hit enter. We are done, at least not for now, and we're going to be heading over to another package that we installed. We're going to be heading over to GLFW3 x86 Windows and changing the directory to lib, and see what's the library name. The library name is GLFW d3dll.lib, and we're going to be putting that right here, GLFW3dll.lib. And in the end, the library we are going to be using next is glad.lib. and you can make sure that you actually have glad.lib within the glad package that we just installed using vcpkg. We're going to be changing the directory to lib, and there we go, we have glad.lib file. So yeah, we have done the section, we have done the part for this section, and hit OK, apply. Don't hit OK yet, it will close the dialog box or this window, but we do have a lot of work to do still. Now after heading over from input, we are going to be heading to general under the linker section, and we are going to be putting the path to each of these libraries that we just named within the input additional dependencies option. So here you might as well find something like additional library directories, and we're going to be editing it. So I'm going to take a look at my path of Imgui. So I'm going to be changing directory to Imgui x86 Windows. I'm making way too many typos. Change directory library, and I'm going to be printing the working directory. So I'm inside of D software projects, vcpkg, packages, Imgui x86 Windows library, and then we have imgui.lib. So we're going to be simply putting that here, and we're going to be simply saying that D / software projects, vcpkg, packages, then we have Imgui x86 Windows, and then we have I believe library lib and imgui.lib. Then you've got to put the path to your another package library, which is GLFW. Then we're going to be navigating to the same path, packages, but now it is GLFW3 x86 Windows lib, and then we have GLFW3 dll.lib. You're done with this, and then we're going to be putting the path for our glad library, vcpkg, packages, glad x86 Windows library lib, and glad.lib. So I believe I haven't made any typos, and each of these entries is correct. So let me take a second look at it. Software projects, vcpkg, packages, Imgui. Okay, looks good to me. And voila, we are done with this part as well. Now your work under the linker section is done. And okay, so I just realized I made a pretty big error, and that error is we were actively supposed to switch to release and switch the platform to x86, but now we've got to do that again, because x64 makes our configuration crash and releases and simply produces a whole lot of errors when we finally do go ahead and try to build this main.cpp file, which simply does create a simple window using the imgui functions. So yeah, we have got to select the release, and we're going to do it one more time. So just in case I don't want to bore you, I'm going to do it at pretty quick. So we're going to be adding, first of all, imgui.lib, then glfw3 dll.lib, then we're going to be having glad.lib, and under the general section we are going to be having additional library dependencies, and we're going to be adding D software projects, vcpkg, packages, im packages, and we have imgui x86 Windows lib, imgui.lib, and again D software projects, vcpkg, packages, glfw3 x86 Windows library or lib, glfw3 dll.lib. Then again D software projects, vcpkg, packages, glad x86 Windows lib, glad.lib. And there we go. We have done the part that we did earlier, and click apply. Now we're done with the linker section. Now you've got to head over to the vc++ directories under the configuration properties section, and head over to the include directories option. Click this down arrow and click on edit. Here we're going to be including the path to the include directory for each of individual of these packages. Now I don't know if you noticed, but while I was navigating to my packages within my vcpkg packages directory, so here we are in the package. If I print the working directory, we are in software packages, Imgui package. And if I list out the contents, you might as well see we just included the path to the library which is present in this lib directory. But now we've got to change, and we've got to change the directory to this include directory. If I change the directory to include directory and list out the contents, here you can see that the actual header files for the Imgui are actually going to be accessed from. So that's the path we have to put here. So first, since you mentioned the Imgui library, we are going to be providing the path to the Imgui library. So we are going to be putting software projects, vcpkg, and then packages, Imgui x86 Windows, but now instead of lib, we're going to be simply putting include. I believe this is right, and it's right, yeah. And the next line, we're going to be doing the same thing, but for GLFW and GLAD. vcpkg, packages, and GLFW3 x86 Windows include, and then the software projects, vcpkg, packages, GLAD x86 Windows, and include. Hit OK, apply, OK. Now if you head over to your main.cpp file, you would see all of those red squiggly lines are gone. And now let's go through the code a little bit. So at the top, we are including the glad.header file from the glad package, and then we have glfw.3 package file, and then we have the Imgui header file, and then we have Imgui bindings for GLFW and OpenGL. GLFW holds the window functions, and OpenGL is a graphic renderer which can basically do stuff along with Imgui if you intend upon doing really graphics heavy stuff using Imgui. And inside of this main function, you can see this is the code almost as a boilerplate serving to create a main window and a frame. And the main stuff for Imgui starts from here after creating the Imgui context. You can see we are in a main loop, and inside of this main loop we have Imgui OpenGL frame being created, then we have a new frame, then we have an Imgui's frame, and then we are rendering an Imgui's contents that we just created, and we are simply setting some variables for having those things rendered. Do bear in mind, in immediate mode graphical user interface, apart from retained mode graphical user interface, each individual element on the screen gets redrawn each iteration of a loop. And that's why we are inside of a main loop. But right before we render out our contents, we can include our own Imgui window by clicking Imgui and having access to this begin function, and it will literally display a small resizable window which will be titled with the string you provide to this function. So you can see we have constant character name and boolean p open. I'm not sure what this does, but you can certainly figure it out on your own. But for the time being, we're going to be accessing and providing access to a, but for the time being, we're going to be creating a window using the begin function. And I'm going to be typing a new window from a new Visual Studio project. Let's save the file, and let's hope for the best that the application or the Visual Studio does not give us any errors, because we have already done the configuration part correctly, and if not so correctly, it will certainly give us some errors. So let's hit local Windows debugger, main.cpp started, and you can see we are successful in setting up our project for Imgui, and we have now finally created a window using the Imgui's begin function, and the title is the string I gave to that function. New window from a new Visual Studio project. Now this is the main stuff that's really tricky getting started with Imgui. If you don't feel comfortable at all using package managers for initializing your own Imgui development environment, I would say certainly do leave out references for me which I can use in my future projects, because to be totally frank, I could not get the individual sources from the Imgui GitHub repo and have it up and running within my existing project, because then it would require some CMake level magic or some compiler or linking magic, which I'm not really skilled at. So, but honestly, this VC package thing was really easy. You can do it using the Conan package manager as well, but VC package seems to work out great. Now this code is generated by ChatGPT, because at the time I don't really know how to do any of this stuff. I was just trying to set up my development environment for my potential project using Imgui. And yeah, in the upcoming videos you might as well see some Imgui projects from my side. So let's see it one more time before I leave. And yeah, we have a simple resizable frame, the main frame. We have a window inside of this frame. This window can be collapsed, and you can learn through the Imgui demo file that comes along with the Dear Imgui's GitHub repo, and learn a lot and implement your own applications using Imgui's built-in functions. And that's it for today. I hope you've made use of this video and it didn't really stress you out too much. If you still don't know how to get VC package up and running, how to do any of that, do certainly ask me in the comments. How do you like me to tell you? Or nonetheless, have a good day. Bye.